Good day, all. This is Rainy Dorian. Thank you for joining me. I am doing something different today for my channel. Excuse me. I'm doing an album review of the 2010 deadmau5 CD, 4x4 = 12. Sorry, I'm sure it may not be flipped to you, but when I was actually streaming this, it was flipped for me. So, anyways, let me get my info here. 4x4 = 12 is the fifth studio album by Canadian record producer and DJ deadmau5. It was released internationally on December 6, 2010 by Virgin Records, and a day later in the United States by Ultra Records and Mousetrap Recordings. The album's title refers to a miscalculation by deadmau5 on his Ustream channel, where he mistakenly said that his live setup for 4 banks of 4 = 12 instead of 16. This album received a nomination at the 54th Grammy Awards for Best Dance or Electronica Album. There was 6 singles from the album. Some Chords, released May 3rd, 2010. Animal Rights, released September 6th, 2010. There was Sophie Needs a Ladder, released November 1st, 2010. 4th single was released November 14th of that year, called Right This Second. Bad Selection was released November 21st. And I'd say one of the most famous singles from this CD, Raise Your Weapon, released May 23rd, 2011. For those who don't know, deadmau5 was born Joel Thomas Zimmerman on January 5th, 1981. He is a Canadian record producer, DJ, musician, and composer. Zimmerman produces a variety of styles within the progressive house genre and sometimes other forms of electronic music. His tracks have been included in numerous compilation albums, such as the 2007 In Search of Sunrise 6 Ibiza CD. He's been nominated for 6 Grammy. He's been nominated for 6 Grammy Awards for his work. Some of his songs were featured in video games. And he is currently one of the highest paid electronic music producers in the world and is a masked music artist similar to Marshmello and Daft Punk. Okay, there's 11 tracks on this CD. Listing from 1 to 11. Some Chords, Sophie Needs a Ladder, A City in Florida, Bad Selection, Animal Rights, I Said Michael Wood's Remix, Cthulhu Sleeps, Right This Second, Raise Your Weapon, One Trick Pony, and Everything Before. First, we'll break down the packaging. I believe they call this packaging the trifold, and I think it was very well. I think it fits the album very nicely. Gives a nice presentation to the CD on the inside. He advertises his merch store on the left flap on the inside, which is this one, which is obviously this one. On the right, there is a picture of him in his mask, and there's a thank you section. I had just listened to the CD, so I'm going to break it down as detailed as I can, track by track. Though I'm just going off memory, which my memory is not the best. Okay, so oops. Okay, some chords, if I remember correctly, is the first. Yep, was the first single released from the CD. The single was released May 3rd of 2010. I thought it was a great opener. In his typical deadmau5 style, the beats are repetitive but not annoying, well executed and not cheesy. Before I continue, though, I want to send a special shout out to Hailstormable, who bought me this. Thank you so much. You're the reason I'm able to do this. The second track, Sophie Needs a Ladder, I thought that was a pretty interesting track. The synths were right on point, had some pretty good bass. There is some critiques, but it's going to be towards the end. Like, I think it's only one major critique. Okay, so the next track, A City in Florida, I think it matched the feeling of a Florida summer real well, though I just assume because I've actually never been to Florida at any point. But for a climate like that compared to that of Maine where I live, that's what I'd want summer to sound like if it were put to music. That selection, again, another good track. I mean, it's all basic, typical mouse style. I said Michael Wood's remix, though there, I don't really think it had to be the remix. I mean, it might have been released elsewhere. The remix made it seem like more like a really long EP. If you pay attention to that, but that's just nitpicking, so I don't actually count that as a critique. Cthulhu Sleeps. That is the longest track on this CD, clocking in at 1 sec. Let me check. A little over 10.5 minutes, so you do have to have some patience. Just like most of the tracks on this CD, they are quite long if you ain't used to that, so just have some patience with the songs. He may not have been going for dark, but I was hoping it would be dark. Not that it's bad. It's a really good song. It's just I was kind of hoping it'd be a little bit darker. But the song was really good. Nothing wrong with it, really. It's just a question of, an atmosphere thing. Number 8, Right This Second, was really good. So now we're at the main focus of this CD, 9 and 10. Number 9 is Raise Your Weapon, and number 10 is One Trick Pony. Number 9 was a very different track for deadmau5 up to this point in his career. Because, I mean, I haven't listened to, like, his earliest works, like Get Scraped. But it seems to me that dubstep wasn't really ever focused on before this. But I really believe it was a good track. I mean, if it was his first dubstep track, it was pretty good, considering that. But if I had to look at it as like a genre he does day by day, I would say the breakdown Could have been a little bit more brutal, but I mean, it's really good. There is nothing wrong with that track. And also at the end of it, after the 8 minutes, whatever, it's a great lead into One Trick Pony, which is the shortest track on the CD. Clocking in at almost 4 minutes. I believe that one was also could also be considered dubstep. So, I mean, that's another good song. Now, we get to the critique. Number 11, Everything Before. It's a great 4/4 pounder as expected by deadmau5, but the one critique I have is that it's a closing track. It just when it gets to the end, it makes this, it closes the CD so suddenly, and I didn't really like that. I mean, I get it. How gradual do you want the close? But it just felt like it just squealed the brakes. But I mean, it's a good song. I don't believe it was made to be a closing track. Like, honestly, I believe if he were to rework the end of Raise Your Weapon, he could have flip-flopped them. If he took out that transitional part at the very end of Raise Your Weapon, I mean, that would have made a great ending track, if you want my honest opinion. But I think it was good. I think the CD was amazing. It was everything I would have hoped it was, apart from a couple little tiny things. I thought it was really, really good. Would I recommend the CD? Yes, I absolutely would. For those who don't typically listen to progressive house, well, of this type at least, the songs typically are long. The average track length is about approaching 7 minutes. It ranges from almost 4 minutes to over 10 and a half across the 11 tracks. So just have a little patience. The average length, like I said, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes even. It was a really good CD. I really believe it is. Scale 1 to 10, I'm feeling a strong 7 to a light 8. The CD was really good. It's just the ending just was kind of distracting. The closing part of the CD was just kind of distracting. But go out and buy it. Go to your local Bull-Moose. They should have this somewhere. If not, you can order it to the store. Yeah, go buy it. So thank you all for joining me. If you like this kind of stuff, me doing this kind of stuff, comment down below. Let me know, and I'll do some more. And if I get enough feedback, I will do another review on the doom metal CD by Moss, Tomb of the Blind, the EP. So until next time, this is Rainy Dorian saying see you later.